Welcome back to another tender offer / $1,000 portfolio update from Spinoff Investing Simplified. Check it out. Hey, welcome to Spinoff Investing Simplified. This is a new series on the Spinoff Investing Simplified channel with a $1,000 special situations portfolio. I have 3 reasons why you might want to watch this particular video. First and foremost, this is one of the ways that some billionaires made their fortunes. First and foremost being Warren Buffett and his special situations back when he was doing his partnerships, and then also Joel Greenblatt, who wrote the book How to Be a Stock Market Genius. After that, the second reason why you might be interested is the goal of this particular portfolio will be first and foremost capital preservation. And this harkens back to the father of special situations investing. His name was Maurice Schiller, and he often talked about how important it was to have romance without risk. Most people, if they have only $1,000 to invest, they typically cannot afford losses. And that's one of the reasons why this is important to focus on your capital preservation with this. And then finally, the guru himself, Warren Buffett, he says, rule 1 in investing is don't lose money. And rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. And so our focus with this will be focusing on not forgetting rule 1 in our investment portfolios. And then finally, the third reason why someone might find this particular series interesting is the high returns on capital I expect this to generate for interested individuals. So a typical special situation that I'm looking at generates at least a 10% return over a couple of months, which means that you can probably do 3 to 4 of them over a quarter, maybe even over a year. You might even get up to 10 of them, which means that there will be some pretty high returns on capital, or expected high returns on capital, on the investments in this particular portfolio. So if you want to see how I do this and you're interested in joining this, please go ahead and smash that like button, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I welcome you along for the ride. Thanks a bunch, guys. This week we'll be talking about an update for the $1,000 portfolio since the Westheld tender offer, or the Westheld odd lot transaction completed. And then I'm also going to spend some time talking about the Sandridge Permian Trust tender offer. Now the first one will be the Sandridge Permian Trust tender offer. This offer is from PEDEVCO, and it has an expiration date of the 25th of November 2020. PEDEVCO is offering to purchase or to exchange 4/10 of a share for every PERS unit out there. And at a recent price of about 43 cents per trust unit, the PERS conversion price will turn out to be about 66.8 cents per PEDEVCO trust or PEDEVCO share. Now, the term may not completely be finalized. I mean, this is the expiration date for this particular tender offer. We should be seeing in the next couple of days whether or not PERS leadership agrees with it, going through with this tender offer. There's some motivation that they might want to. They recently were delisted due to not meeting the share price requirements for the stock exchange. This happens from time to time. It means that you should be aware that this is a very, very small company for that reason, and this may not be an investment for everybody. In this particular case, because PEDEVCO is such a small company as well, I talked with my broker today and tried to see if I could just short the equivalent units of shares per PEDEVCO, or per shares units that I'm purchasing. Unfortunately, that is not something that you can do. It would have been really nice, because that would have been almost a beautiful return on the investment for that, like 50% return basically at these prices. With that potential return, the annualized projected return for this would be about 664%. There you go. That's the basics of the tender offer. I'll have this in the notes so you can go ahead and look at the 8K filing that describes it yourself. I'd like to point your perspective, though, to some of the risks that might be on here, and some of the things that might be mitigated by them. So I already spoke about how small these companies are. This is a very, very small company. In fact, for about $5 million, PERS is due another some cash from Avalon, another player in the oil and gas industry field. That turns into 7 cents a share, or 7 cents per unit, and so they missed their distributions for one of the quarters due to COVID, and part of this was Avalon not being able to make their payments to PERS for using their oil fields. So that, plus there's a tender or a unit distribution that's set to occur on the 25th of November. So basically, it's possible to receive that distribution, but probably not if you're going to tender your shares, because they happen on the same days. PEDEVCO shares, prior to this, the announcing that they would go in and purchase PERS or do this exchange for PERS, was trading at about 80 cents per share. So that would equate to about 32 cents per PERS unit. But it's yielding at about 10% with the upcoming distribution. So basically, the way I see this, we are risking about 11 cents per unit at the 43-cent unit share price or unit price, or about 25% of the initial invested funds. With that being the case, I think this is something that I'm probably going to participate in, and I've already started purchasing shares. My entry price is about 43, maybe 43 and a half, somewhere in that area. Really, that puts it that even if PERS does the transaction and then they drop down to about $1 a share, I'm still going to be a net zero or close to a net zero on my lost capital. So that's how I'm seeing this particular tender offer. We'll see. I may be adding a little bit more to this as time goes, or if the prices continue to fluctuate. But for right now, this is what I feel comfortable with. And you know, who knows? I might get lucky, and PERS or PEDEVCO's share price may jump up to the completion price that it had when the announcement was made for this transaction, which was $2.50 a share. And that particular transaction would be unheard of. It would be basically doubling my money in the month. I don't think that that's going to happen. And I think that this one also has one other final risk that I didn't put on this slide, but you may want to be aware of it. Depending on the election in the United States, that may cause one or another party to cause adverse fluctuations to the stock market. And this is in the oil and gas industry, which tells me that it's going to be one of the most influenced sectors in the stock market. And so just be aware that this one is a pretty high risk, though it does carry a pretty hefty return on it. That being said, I want to do a recap of the Westheld trade for the $1,000 portfolio. The initial capital that I invested into that Westheld trade was $999.94. And as I was looking at it, I was hoping to get a payout of about 33%, you know, $1.48 per share. That represented 900 shares, by the way. The payout turned out to be $13.32 for that. And then there was something that happened on this particular account that I was not expecting, and that was a corporate action transaction fee. So this transaction was charged $38 for participating in the corporate action at Westheld. So that made me perk up and pay attention, because that was almost 10% of my projected return, or a little over 10% of my projected return for this particular transaction. So instead of having an annualized return of about 30% 3%, it was closer to 29.4%. So annualized return so far, or return on this particular this portfolio so far, is just under 30%. And that brings me to some lessons I learned on this. First, high pay items will be necessary to overcome that particular transaction fee. And then the odd lot provision in this particular case provided a significant level of security for this transaction. So it was a great opportunity. It was a great learning experience with this one. Full disclosure, I did roll this balance over into the PDEVCO PERS transaction. It's a little riskier than I initially thought I would be doing with this particular portfolio. However, due to the need to overcome the corporate action transaction fee, I might have to be a little bit riskier here at the beginning with this portfolio to make sure that I'm getting the returns that I'm trying to garner for it. Anyway, if you appreciated this video and would like to subscribe and have not already done so, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks a bunch for watching, and like this video if you feel like this was useful, if this is valuable content. Let me know. I appreciate your comments anytime. So thanks again. Greg Miller signing off. As we finish up, we have one final note for you. This video was made for educational purposes only. Any companies mentioned in this presentation were discussed for educational purposes only. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is for illustrative purposes only and not a solicitation to purchase them. We recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself before you commit any funds. We also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your situation as your fiduciary. May your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks.